What is going on, y'all? And in this video, we are going to be talking about one of the most heavily anticipated topics in Need for Speed Unbound, that, of course, being customization. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into it. Now, as we look at the customization footage from Need for Speed Unbound, I would say that while there are some similarities between the customization in this game and the customization in, say, for example, Need for Speed Heat, there's definitely a lot more of a focus on, I think, making the cars stand out in their own ways. And as we go through all of this footage, we're going to actually go back and pick out some very specific sections of each spot. One of the things that I find interesting is as they scroll through that selection of wheels, it almost seems like we'll be able to have different paint jobs on the surface of the wheels themselves, but also the panel deletes are going to be huge. Now, panel deletes, I know that some people are a fan of them, some people are not, but regardless, it's a feature that has been asked for in racing games for years. Now, just so you guys know, before we get into this, the sections of the trailer that I have picked out to analyze are not in any particular order, so if you see me jumping around a little bit between different parts of the footage, that's why. Now, I'm not sure how many people picked up on this, but this particular shot, this, like, kind of side front passenger corner of the Fairlady Z, now, while I'm sure a lot of people will have their attention drawn to these wheels, look a little bit closer at the tires themselves. These are actually a officially branded tire. These are a Nankang CRS 200 treadwear street/track day tire, which I am pretty sure has not been in any other Need for Speed game ever before. Just, again, odd little details like that I pick out. Now, in one section of the gameplay where they're quickly flipping between different custom vehicles with different liveries, they very briefly flipped over a truck, but they didn't really ever show what it was. They never spent much time on it. It looks to be a Chevy Colorado. And the only thing that really confuses me about the Colorado is why it has a roof rack, because I feel like you can't really use the roof rack in Need for Speed, because I'm not going to be, throwing fuel canisters up there or, like, camping gear up there unless you plan on camping around at the start of a race or something. Now, let's talk about wheels, because wheels are always a very, very, very heavily talked about part of customization. Now, when they showed the Civic, they showed a lot of different variants of what looks like the same turbofan wheel with a lot of different designs on it. Now, will these be predetermined or will you be able to customize them? That remains to be seen, whether these designs are able to be further customized or not, but I would really, really love if you could change up some of the visual aspects of the designs, considering the fact that those turbofan wheels give you a really large surface area from which to put some kind of visual on. And of course, you can't forget the pizza wheels. Apparently, they are also sponsored by Oscar's Pizza. Once again, not necessarily sure how, a street racer goes about getting a pizza place to sponsor them, but there you go. Now, moving on to the slightly broader topic of total vehicle customization, let's take a look at this BMW M1. Now, you guys don't need me to show you what the stock M1 looks like. I'm sure you guys all have either seen the gameplay or you know what a stock BMW M1 looks like, but this is what it would look like with a front wing or front splitter, but with the center bumper section deleted. I'm not so sure that that's a look that I would run. I mean, I think, for me personally, usually the rear bumper deletes look better than the front bumper deletes anyway. But again, looks and vehicle customization are completely 100% subjective, so that's not me saying that one way is better than the other way. That's just me saying that for my own personal preference, I probably wouldn't have taken the bumper off, but that's going to be the beauty of this game. And again, I think the absolute best thing is that they are giving us so many more options and ways to customize the cars, frankly, because guess what? If you don't like that element of customization, like let's say bumper deletes, you don't have to do it. You don't have to delete the bumper on whatever car you build. Although I will say the most extreme example of customization that I think I saw in the whole trailer, like out of all the gameplay that they released, was definitely the Defender, because you can see a freaking intake manifold sticking out of the middle of the hood with two turbos mounted side by side with both a large actual like exhaust exit and a vented to atmosphere wastegate dump tube. I mean, this thing has little winglets above the headlights, it's got custom interior, it's got like, head containment seats, it's got a full cage. It's wild, right? It's absolutely insane. And something about the Defender that got me really, really thinking was that here's, a Land Rover Defender that has always been kind of, synonymous with, like, off-roading, right? Or off-road racing. This vehicle's been in the Need for Speed series before. It's been in Payback. It's been in Need for Speed Heat. And you were always encouraged to turn it into some kind of off-road racer with, like, larger off-road knobby tires. This is a street build. I mean, this is through and through a slammed street build, and you would not be taking this thing off-road. So will we be seeing more of a trend of taking trucks and off-road like style vehicles and turning them into street cars? Will we be seeing that as a component of gameplay? Will it almost kind of extend into the realm of almost like mini trucks? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I think that there's a lot more depth to be seen in this customization than some people have said, because I've seen some people out there saying, oh, it's just the same customization as Heat, it's not going to be any different, blah, 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 blah. I think there's going to be a lot more here than that. I think there's going to be a lot more to it than that, and I am honestly hopeful for this being the best customization we've seen in Need for Speed in years. Now, this next shot tells more of a story than almost any other shot from the trailers, in my personal opinion. Now, looking at the back end of this BRZ, not only can we delete the bumpers and combine the bumper deletes with different wide-body kits, but we can also put stickers on the panels behind the bumpers that have been deleted. That is huge. That is absolutely ridiculous, in fact, and the fact that we're seeing a AAA racing game allow bumper deletes, I think just shows the commitment to customization that Need for Speed has. And again, I've been seeing a lot of people out there saying like, oh, it's just like, redone Heat or rebadged, rebranded Heat, nothing's gonna be different, blah, blah, blah. Yo, they're taking freaking risks out here. They are absolutely taking crazy amounts of risks, especially with this customization, and the fact that they got OEMs to agree to let them delete the bumpers off of the cars in-game on officially licensed vehicles, holy crap, that is literally on a level that is, frankly, unseen in AAA racing games. I mean, I don't know what else I have to say to kind of get that point across, because that is absolutely huge. And of course, there are some people out there in the community saying like, well, Need for Speed Most Wanted didn't need to have that to be good, like Most Wanted 05. Oh, it didn't need to have that to be good because it was good in this way and this way and this way. Or Underground 2 didn't have to have this, this, and this to be good because it was better over here. And I'm like, I get that, I get that. Those games were awesome. I played those games. I played through Need for Speed Most Wanted 05 probably like 3 different times back on both PS2 and PC. I loved that game. It was one of my favorites. But I think at the same time, it can hurt the series a little bit when there are a lot of people that are kind of running around with that point of view of, there will never be a new Need for Speed game that's better than, let's say, Most Wanted 05, so you just need to remaster that and then have that be it and not make any more. And I've seen that said so many times leading up to the release of Unbound, like, oh, we don't want this new Need for Speed game, we just want a remastered Most Wanted 05. And I know I'm kind of about to go on a little bit of a rant here, but here's the thing. Need for Speed Most Wanted 05 was a wonderful game, and it was a wonderful game for its day, in my opinion. Now, does it stack up to the games today? I think in story and gameplay, absolutely yes, it does. But I think it took risks and pushed boundaries for its time. Now, would those boundaries and risks be as big if it was released today? I'm not so sure, and I think that what Need for Speed is really trying to do here is they are trying to take new risks and push new boundaries with a game like Unbound. And again, I'm not trying to say that Unbound's going to be the greatest Need for Speed ever, because we haven't played it yet. We don't know, I'm hopeful, but we haven't played it yet. So I understand the apprehension that some people may have after games like Payback, for example, and after all of the different, issues that 2015 had, and the issues that, honestly, that Heat had as well. So I can understand being apprehensive about jumping on board with a new Need for Speed game. But I think as far as not only switching studios, but taking, those 3 years between Need for Speed Heat and Need for Speed Unbound, I'm really hoping that the series is able to get back into a place where the series is like, yeah, we're jumping in on this. We're really headed somewhere, and, we have a massive player base that we want to support. We want to continue to support this game. We want to continue to support this community and grow the series from there, because a lot of people will say, you know, you'll hear a lot in the Need for Speed community like, oh, the series went downhill ever since Most Wanted 05, or oh, the series went downhill ever since Underground. But here's the thing, with a series that's been around for this long, you have people that didn't jump into the series until Rivals, and that was their very first Need for Speed experience, right? Like, that was their first experience they ever had of the series. And then some people, they didn't even experience the series first until Need for Speed Payback, which, if that was when you first experienced Need for Speed, I'm sorry. But not that Payback was bad, it just wasn't my favorite, you know? It wasn't a Need for Speed game that fully connected with me, whereas I actually really enjoyed Rivals, for example. I know there are elements of Rivals that are a buggy mess, but I really enjoyed it. Now, did it lack customization and lack a lot of the things that make a Need for Speed game what it is? Yes, it absolutely did, but it had fun, engaging gameplay, and I think when you have the customization combined with the fun and engaging gameplay, that is when you get a really good Need for Speed game. So, fingers crossed for Unbound, and hopefully that is what that game turns out to be. But if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know any thoughts and opinions that you guys may have in the comment section down below. And if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button and turn those notifications on. And I will see y'all next time.